welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really digging into something I think a lot of us grapple with based on these sources about facing your feelings. It's this core idea of distress intolerance. Why do totally normal, everyday, uncomfortable feelings like grief or frustration, even anxiety, sometimes feel so huge threatening, so threatening that they seem almost unbearable? And our mission today is really to unpack that and figure out why trying to run from that discomfort actually counterintuitively makes things worse.
Exactly. And the term we're using, distress intolerance or DI, it's key here. It's not necessarily that people can't cope with life's challenges. It's more about a perceived inability to fully sit with, to experience those unpleasant emotions.
Perceived inability.
Right. And what really marks it is this desperate urge to escape the feeling itself. It's often driven by a deep fear of the emotion. So, you end up being more scared of the panic attack than whatever might have triggered it initially.
Okay, yeah, that leads straight into this paradox that just leaps off the page in these sources. The more you fight distress, the more you struggle against it, try to avoid it.
The worse it gets.
The worse it gets, yeah.
It's the ultimate trap, really. The analogy they use is quite good, actually. Think of your distress like a puddle of water blocking your path.
Okay.
If you just accept it's there, maybe get your feet a bit wet, you can walk through it, right? But if you fear the puddle, if you panic about getting wet, struggle against the idea of it, you're essentially pouring more water in.
Through avoidance and fighting it.
Exactly. Through avoidance, resistance, until that puddle becomes this deep pond you absolutely cannot cross.
Yeah.
Your own fear and resistance have magnified the original feeling into something that feels catastrophic.
Wait a minute, though. Are we saying the initial feeling, like anxiety itself, is basically harmless? And it's purely our reaction that's the problem? That feels, I don't know, like it puts all the blame on the person feeling it.
Well, it's more about separating the primary emotion from the secondary reaction, The sources actually group these negative emotions, which is helpful. They talk about three main clusters.
Okay.
You've got the sad cluster, that's disappointment, grief, shame, that kind of thing. Then the mad cluster, anger, frustration, rage, often with that high physical arousal.
Right. Heart pounding. Tense.
Exactly. And then the scared cluster, fear, panic, dread, also usually high arousal. But here's the key insight from the material. None of these feelings are inherently distressing, not in the DI sense. They only become unbearable when we layer on what they call distress intolerant beliefs. These are the really toxic thoughts like, this feeling is bad, it's dangerous, I can't stand it, or it'll make me lose control or go crazy.
Got it. So if I genuinely believe feeling anxious will make me, I don't know, faint or something, my gut reaction is going to be get me out of here. Find the nearest escape hatch.
Precise.
So what do the sources call those escape routes?
They call them distress escape methods, and this is critical. They offer instant short-term relief. That relief is powerful, it reinforces the behavior, keeps the cycle going. But long-term, they're pretty much guaranteed failures. The most common one is just plain avoidance. That can be obvious, like skipping a party if you have social anxiety.
Right.
But it can also be more subtle. Things like constantly seeking reassurance from others or compulsively checking things. Those actions temporarily lower the distress, so you keep doing them.
And then there's distraction. Or just trying to push the feeling down, suppression. That sounds exhausting.
Oh, it absolutely is. Suppression is. Well, the analogy used is perfect. Trying to hold a big beach ball, that's the emotion, underwater.
Yeah, I can picture that.
You can do it maybe for a little while, but it takes immense effort, mentally and physically. And what happens eventually, that ball pops right back up, often smacking you in the face, right? Usually with more force than if you just let it float to begin with.
Okay. And then we get into the perhaps more concerning methods like numbing and withdrawing.
Yeah, that covers the ways people try to just tune out, check out from the discomfort, using alcohol, maybe other substances, binge eating's a common one, or even just sleeping excessively to kind of zone out.
So all these quick fixes. What's the big downside?
Well, it's really twofold, according to the sources. First, by always escaping, you stop yourself from ever learning actual helpful coping skills, ways to manage the feeling without running.
Okay.
And second, maybe even more importantly, you never give yourself the chance to test if those intolerant beliefs, this feeling will destroy me, it will last forever, are actually true. You never learn that you can, in fact, tolerate the feeling. It passes.
Right. You never disprove the fear. So, okay, wrapping this up. What's the takeaway for you listening? I mean, the good news here seems to be that distress tolerance isn't some fixed trait, right? It's a skill.
It absolutely is. It's something you can learn. It involves changing those escape methods, yes, but also challenging those underlying beliefs about the emotions.
Acceptance seems key.
That focus on acceptance is key. But we need to aim for healthy distress tolerance. It's presented as a continuum, and it's really important to mention that being overly tolerant, like extremely tolerant at the far end, that's also not helpful.
How so?
Well, that kind of extreme tolerance can lead people to just put up with really bad situations, bad relationships, toxic work environments, genuinely unhappy circumstances. They tolerate the discomfort so much they don't take action to actually change things for the better.
That's a really important point. So if constantly escaping distress keeps you stuck, maybe here's a final thought to chew on.
Yeah.
What unhappy situation in your own life might you be currently tolerating simply because you fear the discomfort, the uncertainty that would come with making a much-needed change? Something to think about.